Government Bills. First reading. Protection of Critical Infrastructures Computer Systems Bill. Inland Revenue Amendment Tax Deductions for Assisted Reproductive Service Expenses Bill 2024. Protection of the Harbor Amendment Bill 2024. Road Tunnels Government Amendment Bill 2024. Second reading. Secretary for Security. President, I move the second reading of the Protection of Critical Infrastructure Computer Systems Bill. Critical infrastructures, CIs, are infrastructures that are necessary for maintenance of normal functioning of society and the normal life of the people. In fact, CIs around the world are at the risk of being cyber-attacked maliciously. There have been incidents where CIs, such as field transportation pipeline operator, healthcare system, and data center, were attacked and caused major impacts on societies. Laws and regulations protecting the security of computer systems of CIs have become increasingly common in other jurisdictions. As announced by the Chief Executive in his policy address published in October 2022, legislation would be enacted for the enhancement of the cybersecurity of CIs. The bill seeks to impose statutory requirements on designated operators of critical infrastructures to ensure they take appropriate measures to protect their computer systems and minimize the chance of essential services being disrupted or compromised due to cyber attacks, thereby maintaining the normal functioning of Hong Kong society and the normal life of the people. This is conducive to enhancing overall computer system security in Hong Kong. The bill proposes to set up a dedicated office under the Security Bureau to implement the new legislation. Regulated CIOs are necessary for the continuous delivery of essential services or maintaining important societal and economic activities in Hong Kong. Operators to be regulated will mostly be large organizations. SMEs and the general public will not be affected. The purpose of these statutory obligations to be imposed is to safeguard the security of the computer systems that are critical to the core functions of the critical infrastructures. They in no way target personal data and trade secrets, nor do they have anything to do with online activities of the public. The bill proposes to regulate two categories of CIs. The first category is infrastructures for delivering essential services in Hong Kong, which cover 8 sectors. Since the government has internal policies and guidelines to ensure the computer system security of essential services operated by the government, we believe it is appropriate to continue with the current method to continue to regulate government departments with the existing administrative approach without incorporating them into the proposed legislation. The statutory obligations under the bill are grouped into 3 categories, namely organizational obligations, preventive obligations, and incident reporting and response obligations. Organizational obligations include reporting any changes in the operatorship to the dedicated office, setting up a computer system security management unit, and appointing a dedicated supervisor with experts, etc. Preventive obligations include formulating and implementing a computer system security management plan and conducting regular risk assessments and audits. As for incident reporting and response obligations, operators need to take part in a computer system security drill organized by the dedicated office and formulating an emergency response plan. In the event of a computer system security incident, operators need to report to the dedicated office within a specified time frame and take action according to the plan to recover the system. The dedicated office may render assistance as necessary by taking remedial measures, bring the problems under control, and reducing the likelihood of impacting on other CIs, thereby ensuring the normal operation of the Hong Kong society and the normal lives of Hong Kong people. We propose to set up a dedicated office under the Security Bureau, which will be led by a commissioner appointed by the Chief Executive and comprise computer system security experts from various departments, such as the Police Force and the Digital Policy Office (DPO). They will perform the work under the proposed legislation. Some of the essential service sectors to be regulated under the proposed legislation are already comprehensively regulated, so we propose to designate certain sector regulators as designated authorities to monitor the discharge of organizational and preventive obligations by the CI operators in the essential service sectors. At this stage, we propose to designate the Hong Kong Monetary Authority as the authority responsible for regulating some service providers in the banking and financial services sector, and the Communications Authority as the authority responsible for regulating some service providers in the communications and broadcasting sector. The legislative intent of the proposed legislation is not to punish CIOs, but after balancing the impact of the proposed legislation on institutions and the need to ensure sufficient deterrent effect, we propose to impose penalties on an organization basis. Offenders are liable for a maximum fine ranging from $500,000 to $5 million. For certain offenses, additional daily fines for persistent noncompliance will be imposed. There is no jail imprisonment. The legislation only proposes to impose fines on institutions. However, if the relevant violation involves infringement of existing criminal legislation, such as making false statements, using false instruments, or other fraud-related crimes, as is the current situation, the officers involved could be held criminally liable personally. President, we aim to set up a dedicated office after the legislation comes into effect. The dedicated office will continue to maintain a close dialogue with the stakeholders, as well as designate CIOs and CCS in a progressive and phased manner, having regard to the situations of institutions which may be designated as operators in different CI sectors. I urge members to support the bill. I so submit. Thank you, President. I now propose a question to you that the aforesaid bill be read the second time. In accordance with the rules of procedures, the second reading debate is adjourned and the bill is referred to the House Committee.
Secretary for Health.